Hi everyone, it's Charlie from Offset Warehouse and the Sustainable Fashion Collective, coming to you from actually a rather beautiful day in isolation. I wanted to quickly jump on here. Most of you will know by now, but some of you might not know. I am currently growing a tiny human, due any time actually this week. And one of the things that we have come across is, or that I've come across, is a lot of online shops running out of things for new mums and newborns. And so, including things like boots, having to wait for about 3 hours to get a hold of anything, even just to get on the website to be able to buy certain bits. So what I thought might be really useful is to show you a couple of things that you can make. So if you're really panicking about being able to get hold of some of these things, please don't panic. We have survived in much worse situations than running out of a few wet wipes. One of the main things why I'm suggesting to make them is because fabric shops are still open. So if you don't have anything at home, if you don't have any fabrics at home, you can do an online fabric shop, and you won't be waiting in a Boots queue for 4 hours, which can be very, very stressful. I'm just going to shoot through a couple of things that you can get busy with making at home, and then what I'll do is put together some separate videos on each item so that we can break it down so it's really easy and you don't have to panic, and hopefully that might ease some of your worries if you're worrying, or just give you a really lovely crafty project to keep you busy while it's a little bit dull at home, especially if you're on maternity leave with nothing to do and nowhere to go. So the first one is muslin cloths. Could not be easier to make. Basically, if you have a big piece of fabric, just put a hem on it. And even if you don't have time for hemming, you don't need to hem it, it's fine. No one's going to notice. These also double up as really good swaddles. So there are lots and lots of YouTube videos about how to use them as swaddles, but basically you can make them into triangles, which I of course can't do while I'm trying to look at the camera. And they're great as well. So they're multifunctional, so you can use them while you're feeding, as an extra bib, all sorts of things. They're super, super handy. And you do not have to buy them online. You can just make them with what you've got at home, or anything really. The next thing is a bib. Also quite handy. Not necessary for newborns really, but I think they're really actually quite sweet. But also they're quite handy when you are breastfeeding or if you're bottle feeding, because as you know, the milk dribbles all over their faces, and it can cause a complete mess. So this is quite nice. It means you don't have to change them every 10 minutes. It's got the one, well, this is a pattern that I just made up. You can make them more sort of square, so you don't have to use so much fabric. The thing about all these little things actually that I'm going to show you is that you can use up any kind of leftover fabrics. They're ideal. So things of funny shapes, little bits of fabrics that I've had lying around for ages, not really knowing what to do with them. These are absolutely ideal. What I quite like about these ones is that we've poppered them on the edges. So, sorry, you probably can't really see that. So they pop here, but then we've also made, well, I've also made them slightly smaller, but they still popper all the way around. So you can have sort of two sizes, because sometimes when they're tiny little necks, the holes are way too big. But this is quite nice, and also means keeps you a bit cleaner as well, so you can don't have to have quite so much spit up on you. So next thing that's been really difficult to get hold of, which some people might not enjoy or might not like, which is totally fine, but I'm personally using maternity pads. I think they're from Nature Care, which are organic cotton, and they have just completely gone. You can't get a hold of anything at the moment, and I felt like I might need a few more, so I just whizzed up a few reusable ones. Actually the same sort of principle as reusable panty liners or kind of Tampax. So again, super easy to make, quite sweet. You can add little what do you call them, sort of flaps on the side so that you can popper them underneath your pants. and really easy to clean. And also you don't need to be panicking about how many do I need? Do I need 100? Because you just don't know until you get there. So, and you can make up loads of these as well. So you have a nice stash, and they're quite sweet. No one's going to know, especially when you're in isolation. It's just nice to have something, you know, to hand that you can rely on if you do run out of your maternity pads. Another quite nice one is, and actually I have not made these since I've been on maternity leave, but I have made them. I have been slowly making them because they are very cute. And these are basically just reusable wipes, which I have bias binded, which I know anybody who knows about bias binding is going to be like, why on earth have you done that? Well, you know what? I just want it to look nice while I'm wiping my baby's bottom, okay? And they're really easy to make and fun, and I just thought actually they kind of keep them a bit sturdier when you have an extra layer on, but you do not have to go to this extreme. You just need some fabric. Pinking shears is fine. Bits of kind of old towel, amazing. Flannel is really good as well. I wouldn't recommend these for, well, you can use these for the first few poos, because the first few poos, if you've had a baby or if you've done any research, they are kind of like, how do I explain them? Sort of like tar. So tar poo is what you're dealing with. So if you do have some kind of cotton, that's actually much better. Something like cotton wool is much better for those first poos. But if not, you can use these. You probably won't get them out, so you will probably have to bin them. But these are so easy to make. If you have any old towels, anything really, or you can buy toweling online. So that's really, really easy. The next one, again, sort of similar, are reusable wipes. I actually just make a load of these for myself because they are amazing. They get off the makeup really, really easily. You just stick them in the wash, and actually you can just rinse them. Depends what you're doing. Like if you're using them to put toner on or anything, that's really straightforward. Again, I can show you how to make them, but they really couldn't be easier, especially if you've got flannel. And again, you don't need to back them. You can just use pinking shears and cut around one little piece of fabric. But these are just sort of something to come in a bit handy. The next thing that is also really being a struggle to get hold of at the moment are breast pads, maternity breast pads. And again, you kind of don't really know how many you need. So just whiz a couple of these up. I say a couple. If you haven't got any, I'd probably whiz quite a few up. Depends how quickly you do your washing, but these are all washable and amazing. And I tested them. By testing them, I mean I put water onto them, and they're fantastic. They don't leak or anything. So again, I can show you how to make those up. Really, very, very straightforward. I'm quite lucky because I've got an overlocker, but you can use a zigzag stitch as well. And this one I think has 3 layers, so I put a toweling on the outside, a flannel on the inside, and then a waterproof layer on the back. You probably don't need a waterproof layer. It will probably be thick enough as it is, but you know, if you just want to be sure, you don't want to have any accidents. I mean, it's not like we're seeing anyone in the next few weeks anyway, so the only person who's going to be seeing it, or the only people, are the people that you're living with. And I'm sure they won't care. So yes, but these are really useful and washable, so you can make, you know, 10 maybe. Depends how fast you go through them, depends how fast you do your washing, or how much fabric you've got left over, and they're super. So yeah, so you don't need to panic about those. A couple of kind of nice things to have, and again, because newborns are so tiny, they're so teeny tiny, you don't need very much stuff. So this was just an old ball of yarn I had left, some beautiful Erica Knight organic cotton and something, or maybe it's a bamboo, I can't remember, and really easy pattern to knit, because I am actually not a knitter and I knitted it. So super easy. I love doing that, and it took an evening. And so the thing about the newborn hats is they're often way too big, so if you knit them, they're just a slightly better size. They're just yeah, they just fit a bit better if you can knit them. If you can crochet them, that's great as well, but crochet doesn't have quite as much give as a knit does. And yeah, so I can put the size of this one online. Some people, it depends how big you knit, have found them, or small you knit, have found them too small, have kind of said, oh god, they're like preemie sizes, but the one I've done is actually a little bit too big, so I think it's quite a good pattern. What else is quite nice? Oh, these are quite nice, and again, quite easy to make, very quick to make up, but really, really fiddly are little scratch mittens. And the thing about scratch mittens is that they will not stay on. So I really should have put some kind of, probably a little tie, you know, a little bit of ribbon so that you can just make it a slightly tighter, but I just didn't want to. I don't know why. I just thought, no, I don't want to tie their little wrists. So yeah, so I've left it as they are, and just making them slightly longer helps as well, because just helps to keep them on a little bit longer than they might be on for. But anyway, but they are a really nice little project to do, and also you can do them in, you know, with little any leftover fabrics that you have, so leftover scraps, so ideal because they're so tiny, and you can make them in really cool colours. I was going to embroider maybe little hearts on them or something, so they're really, really sweet little project to work on. And then finally, I think I just wanted to show you some fun things. So if you're super organised and you've already got all of those essentials, and you don't want to make them up, or you don't fancy making those, some really sweet projects. Actually, this isn't really sweet, but it's really useful. Are making washcloths, so knitting washcloths. Again, I'm not a knitter, but I knitted that, and so it's very, very easy to do. And these have been amazing. So I've made 2 or 3 now, and they're so great. Mainly when you're in the bath and your tummy is sticking out and it gets freezing cold. You can just put one on top and it covers your belly, and it makes for a really beautiful bath, which you will probably be doing if you go into early labour. So that's super. Oh, another bath themed one, which I actually really enjoyed making, was this. So it's a, what do you call it? A sort of bath bandeau. So the idea is you put it with your hair up, actually, under your head, and then you can tie it at the top. And I did quite a lot of research into what I wanted, because this I've actually made hopefully for labour, because I'm hoping to have a water birth. Things may change, who knows, but frankly it's also served as a fantastic bath bandeau for the time being as well, because I've added extra padding inside, so when you put your head onto the bath, it's actually super, super comfortable. It's like a pillow. So that was just a really fun thing to make, and it's going to keep my hair hopefully slightly drier in those final moments where you probably don't really want your hair all wet. And so yeah, so I'll go through how I made that. That was really easy, and I stuck another layer inside to give it that kind of nice pillow effect, and some really, again, cute fabric I've had lying around, just a tiny scrap of it. I thought, oh, I'll definitely use it for something, but I don't know what. Ideal, absolutely ideal. Another really sweet little project. This was actually before lockdown. It's a sleep suit. No, it's not. It's a sleeping bag. When we had thought we were heading to Spain for a summer wedding, and I thought, oh my goodness, our little baby is going to fry. So what is a good thing that, what kind of sheeting can I put them in? And yeah, so this is not an essential and probably not something that's running out, but it is a really, really sweet project to make, especially if you've got super cute fabric, which this is. This is some leftover organic cotton that I had. One of the things that I really like is that we put, I put elastic in the bottom, because it's so much easier to pull up the elastic over a nappy, makes for much quicker changing, which is what you want. And of course some poppers at the top. Over here you can see those, if I can get them off. They're quite tight, these poppers, on both sides, and then poppers down the front, which hopefully will still get some use, because as you know, these babies don't stay these sizes for very long. But yeah, so those are really great, and stops baby from kicking the fabrics or kicking the bed sheets up over their faces, which is what we're trying to avoid at all costs. Another gorgeous little project is to make some baby toys and knitting. So cute. You can see I'm actually still currently in the middle of this one because I haven't yet finished it. But these are so easy. It is basically the head and the body is one big square of just knit, so a garter stitch. And then these are just the same, sort of long rectangles, and stuff it. And ears, you just tie a little bit of yarn around each corner of your square. The neck, just run a little stitch all the way around and pull it tight to make a cute thing. Same with the kind of muzzly bits, a bit of black thread. I'm going to also add some claws on the feet. That's the next little part of it. And also you can add a cute scarf, anything. You can knit one, or you could, find some little fabrics, and you can make them any size depending on how much yarn you have. This looks really cute with mummy and baby, or daddy and baby, or mummy, daddy and baby, or mummy, mummy and baby, daddy, daddy and baby, all of the different combinations. And it's a really, really sweet little project. Don't put toys in your newborn baby prams, things like that. Just for decoration, for the time being, on the nursery wall, until it's safe for them to have them in the cots and the prams and things. One thing that it was super for stuffing them, if you don't have any stuffing, which, let's face it, who's got stuffing lying around, is to use all of your fantastic sewing offcuts. So once you've sewn up all of your pieces, if you have anything spare, I always stick it in a little bag, or a big bag actually at this point, and they make for really, really good things to stuff with, because it's all really soft fabrics, soft threads, soft yarns, and it's ideal. Why would you throw it all away? It makes for perfect little toys like these. Next couple of things. Oh, this was a really lovely make, and actually inspired by can you see that? Just some shorts, which actually I can see I haven't trimmed one of the threads off, and they're a bit crinkled. I basically just wanted some shorts that I could wear after labour in the hospital, that are really comfortable, and yeah, just in case, because it gets really, really hot in the rooms, and I didn't have anything, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make some quickly. Really, again, so easy to make. I'm quite lucky because I've got the overlocker, but put some elastic in it. It was quite difficult to get the sizing because, of course, I'm still dealing with a bump, and also I don't quite know what size the bump's going to be once I'm finished, so to speak. So I've made them really big, but big's great, big's comfortable. And I think finally, the last little thing I made was some little boots. And again, you probably don't need to make these because they've got them everywhere, but they were such a sweet little thing. And I had some, these are actually swatches. So these are leftover organic cotton swatches I had. I've had them for ages and didn't know what to do with them. And they make ideal boots, boot-sized fabric. Oh, and one thing as well that you can do, because obviously these aren't zero waste, well actually this top bit is, because these are the full size, but anything with a circle is unlikely to be zero waste, is keep a little bag of all the offcuts, and you can make little toys with them. So make stuffing, they're ideal, so don't throw them away. Yeah, keep hold of them, they're great. So hopefully that's given you a nice little range of things that either you can make if you're really struggling to get hold of things, which I understand is totally stressful and horrible, or just something really nice to keep you busy over this period. Yeah, really, really nice project. And if you don't know how to sew and you're like, oh God, I can't find any of these things, and now I have to learn how to sew, just ship it out to somebody who does know how to sew. They're so quick to make. Everyone's bored. Just, yeah, I'm sure no one will mind you asking for some maternity pads or some, you know, reusable things like that. And please, if you have any questions at all, you know, get in touch with us. We'd love to help you. Keep safe, keep making, keep calm and carry on. And we will see you the other side. Bye.